PayPal is the leading e-commerce provider. We're available in 203 markets in 57 different currencies, and we process over 11.5 million payments per day. In looking for solutions, we noticed that the hyperscale solutions from DDN were able to keep up with the rates of incoming data that we were looking for. We have one system that sends as much as 30 gigabytes per second of data on the wire that we have to analyze in less than a second, and represents over 200,000 database operations per second, which translated into nearly 1 million IOPS per second. That to me is a big data problem. DDN had no problem persisting that much data at that rate. That's the reason we went with a high-performance storage system from the outset. By putting the DDN solution in place, we're able to increase our reaction time by a factor of 4. It basically allows us to do in 1 second what it would have taken us 4 seconds to do before. That doesn't sound like a lot, but in an online world, seconds make a difference. At 2 seconds, you start to wonder whether your payment is going to go through or not. At 3, you're really wondering about it. At 4, you start to hit buttons on your device or hit escape on your browser, causing other things to happen that you may not want. We are tasked with approaching the problem with an empty whiteboard every time. DDN does the same thing. They approach storage differently than everyone else does. So when we first got the hyperscale storage arrays, the first place we put them in was underneath Lustre for OSTs. It's worked great, and we've pushed it into other places since then. It excels at configuration, it excels at raw speed, it excels at being shared, it recovers well when there are failures, and there are always failures. For any type of system that you build. The key is not to design failure out of the system, it's to design handling the failure into the system. And we've embedded it underneath Vertica for raw block storage in our databases. We've put it underneath Hadoop in several cases, abandoning the traditional local disk model for Hadoop, but DDN was very willing to work with us. We get to claim we did it first, and DDN was the ones who enabled that for us. We had a model for scaling organic growth before we put the solution in. By changing just the storage layer and putting DDN in place, we got a 4 times improvement without having to change any other aspects. Just being able to write to the storage faster meant that the same nodes that were out there could process 4 times as much without having to be upgraded at all. Thanks to DDN, PayPal increased our reaction time by 400%. We got that with a 75% reduction in cost. That's another tremendous win from my perspective. I spend my time designing infrastructure environments, not just storage. So anywhere that I can save money, that's the same as making money for me.